I hated
First
it.
communion?
Yeah, something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. I
yeah,
hated it. I was just, like, I have a video in church doing the first communion, and I was doing like this and like looking. I didn't know how many times was it. I don't know.
I know what
was
you're talking about.
I don't know, bro. It's so funny. For the first time in my life, I experienced depression. I thought that was not real. People, when I'm depressed, like, you're full of bullshit. That's not real. I would tell them it's not even real because I never experienced it, right? Money is money by itself. By itself is a curse. The 8th of January, I was in Bahamas in a yacht, and that day I just had an encounter with God. Like, so many things happened that day, and I was like, shit, like, God is real.
And I just heard a voice. Like, it sounds corny, but I know anyone watching that's experienced it would understand. Like, they know, like, there's a voice that you can hear inside your head. In life, whenever you don't know which way to go or what to do, cling to God, keep God first, and everything will be okay.
People are so scared to use money. It just, I coach also people like they're not coaches. They just want mindset.
Yeah.
So the other day I did a call with a new guy that came in. He's doing 100 million a year, bro.
100 million
A year.
Oh,
this
snap.
guy makes 100 million. We're broke, like this guy's making 100 million a year, and he has fear of losing the money, of not having money. Imagine, like, people think that the more money you make, nah, bro. If you have a fear of losing money, you make more money, the fear is gonna grow.
Yeah.
Because you have an interior problem, and you try to fix it exteriorly. It doesn't work. If your car, sí, dale caña. No pasa nada, brother. Ahí estamos. No molestas. Ahí estamos. Saludos, hermano. Sigue así. No, I'm good, bro. Yeah, I fucking have my meals and
Dialed.
I will eat, but like, I didn't want to bring it out. Just give a fuck. So I eat when I get home. But you guys order whatever. Like, yeah.
I'm gonna get steak.
Yeah, order whatever. So your engine breaks down, something inside, and we're just fixing the rear wing. Nothing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So people don't understand that. Like, one thing is internal, one thing is external, and if you have an internal issue, like you're not in peace, you're not grateful, you're not happy, you're not fulfilled, you feel lonely or whatever, people try to like mask it with making more money.
Yeah.
That's just gonna make it worse. But all these things, like, they don't really teach them.
Yeah.
People just like, go more money, more money. Yeah, money is great, but like, money aligned is great.
Yeah.
Because if you're not aligned, money becomes a curse, and it will destroy you. I mean, we've seen cases.
Yep.
Like, money is money by itself. By itself is a curse. If it doesn't bring the wisdom and the habits, and the character to, manage it, it will destroy you.
Yeah. What is one lesson you learned your first year making $1 million?
Yeah.
Like, what's a lesson you learned? Maybe where did you go wrong once you started making money? That if you could run it back, you would not do that.
Well, I mean, obviously this is something that's gonna happen. Temptations, the more money. When I got married, like, I've been married for 10 years. I met my wife and I was like, she's my wife. First day I knew it. So we were married for 2 years already. And, it's when I started to just, I bought a Lambo, I was living in a big house in Vegas, pool, like, I don't come from money. So, I was probably making, I don't know, like 80K, 90K a month. That was a lot of fucking money, bro.
Yeah.
For like me, my dad, like, he's like, I've never met anyone that made this kind of money. Like, my dad never knew anyone that made that money. Like, it was new for me, for everyone, And, it's the gym, girls start looking at you the way, they know you from Instagram, the car, blah, blah. So, started having temptations for other women, started wanting to have sex with other women. And I was never like unfaithful to my wife because I've always been upfront with her, we've built together. But I got very distracted with women, party, drugs. And I got dialed into a group of people that were doing drugs, cocaine. And, slowly I just became addicted to that shit. That's where West came in for me. Because I was, at that time, I just bought an Aventador. It was my second Lamborghini. I had a 720S. I had a G-Wagon. I had a BMW. I mean, I had like 4 or 5 cars, like, pretty good. But then I saw that suddenly this motherfucker, like, with 9 supercars in a mansion.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't do drugs. I wake up at 3 a.m. like, what the fuck? Like, okay, like, I want that shit. Okay, so I was like, this guy is like, no drugs, no party, wake up extremely early. Like, I've only wake up at 5 a.m. to go to the airport, and I was dying, I was waking up at 8, 9, But I was like, I ain't gonna fucking argue with him. He's obviously better than me.
Yeah.
So I literally follow his content for like a few weeks and then got his program. And stop partying, stop doing drugs, read this book, wake up at 5, say no more. Like literally, I finished the Zoom call and I went to my little drawer where I had all the drugs. I had a Nike shoe box full of drugs, like cocaine and like everything, and just fucking poured in the fucking thing. Haven't done a drug ever since.
Done forever.
Done forever.
Fast implementation.
Very fast, bro. I'm very fast implementing stuff. Like if someone is better than me and he tells me do this, I gotta do it.
I'm
not a
way.
fucking ego, stupid motherfucker, and I'm gonna question a guy that's like, I don't know, I have a Huracan and he has a Bugatti. Like the fuck, bro. Like, you don't know, his wheels is your car. Like, what are you actually like? You know?
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't understand it because people try to understand things before implementing it, and it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Because if you understood it, you will be making it.
True.
So you gotta not question it, apply it, and just it will happen.
When did you develop a relationship with the Lord?
Yeah, that's a good one, bro. So me, like, I didn't even know my wife was so close to God. Because like for me, God was not, I've never been like, I don't believe in God. Why believe in God? I just been a kid doing my shit.
Didn't really think about
I
it.
didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
In my growing up, in my circle, no one ever asked me anything about God. No one ever said anything about God. And I feel like that's just normal, right?
Yeah.
Like normal people, normal. Like I saw church is like boring.
Yeah.
You know, like my mom forced me to do like when you're catechesis, I don't know, when you're little, you do like, I don't know how you say in English. Primera comunión. So she forced me to do that. I hated it.
First communion?
Yeah, something like
yeah,
that. I
yeah.
hated it. I was just, like, I have a video in church doing the first communion, and I was doing like this and like looking. I didn't know how many times was it. I don't know.
I know
was
what
just,
you're talking about.
I don't know, bro. It's so funny. I was boring to me. I don't know. I don't believe in it. Whatever. I just doing my thing. So I've always been like this. But I've always been a kid that I always do the right thing. You know, like I was brought up with good education. You know, like they taught me to be a good person. All this stuff. You know, very good parents.
Yeah.
You know, not like very rich or very poor, normal, but they brought me in a very good way. You know, be respectful, all this stuff, right? So I always did the right thing, right? So start with my wife. And this was in Miami, bro. I mean, you met me that time. When you met me, I was not same with God. Like, nothing.
Really? At
I
all?
didn't know anything about God.
Oh, wow.
And like, the closest I started to get to God was Wes, because Wes will say the universe,
Yeah.
right? And as he's saying the universe, I started like, wait a minute, like, there's something more, right? It's when I started to like, do a little bit of research, reading more, and stuff like that. But it happened like this. When I got to the point where like, I had it all. Like it was 2023, bro. Like flying jet, like 110-foot yachts. Like at that time I was traveling with my wife and 3 chicks. I'm pretty sure you saw the photos
saw
and
that, yeah.
videos. Like I had a warehouse with like 13 supercars.
I remember seeing that.
beside in Design District.
Yeah.
13 supercars, the Bugatti, everything. Living in the mansion in the water, like. All the chicks, like everything, bro. And I remember the point I was in Mexico. I flew in jet with my wife, another chick. We get there, drive to the boat, 110-foot yacht, chartered for 1 week, and like traveling Mexico, like 8-hour fucking boat trip to an island. And I was there. I mean, I'm getting the chills right now, even like remember it. And I was there, remember perfectly in the boat, in the where the main room, my room.
Yeah.
All the girls were up. I was under and there was a room that the window will be half in the water and half, you could see the water half the window and half the thing. And I was sitting in the bed, bro, looking out the window, and I was like, why I feel so empty? I was feeling just the emptiest I felt in my life. Just feeling like I had nothing, and I had everything supposedly, right?
Wow.
And this was like very shocking for me because I'm a guy that if something happens, I need to find a solution. It's not like I just let things slip.
Yeah.
And if I have an issue with my wife, I don't just let it slip and okay, what's going on? Like, let's fix this now.
Yeah.
I don't just let it slip and let it go. So I just didn't know what was going on. That period, I don't know how. Oh yes, a follower. I was a DM because I did on my DMs. This was like, oh, you need to read this book. It was Conversations with God.
What is it?
Conversations with God.
Conversations
Have you
with
read
God?
it?
I've heard of it. I've
It's
never
really
read
good.
it.
It's called Conversations with God. It has like 4, but I recommend the first one. So I started reading that book, and it just got me so into God. And then one day, it was 2024 January, the 8th of January. I was in Bahamas in a yacht, and that day I just had an encounter with God. Like, so many things happened that day, and I was like, shit, like God is real. He's speaking to me. And I was like in shock, and I went to my wife, and I'm like, yo, God is real. And she's like, yes. Like it's like, hey, you're drinking? Like, yeah. Like, she was not even surprised. I'm like, you knew about this? Like, yes. Like, all the time. It's like, why you never told me anything? It's like, because I couldn't tell you anything. You were just gonna laugh at me or something, and you're not gonna listen to me. So my wife was very intelligent in that sense.
Wow.
She never pushed it to me, but she was always praying. She then showed me stuff written down like 6 months ago that happened now. My wife would be writing stuff, speaking to
She
God.
was writing
I didn't
it.
get the chills, bro. My wife would be speaking to God, guide me, like do this, get
Praying
him out of the
for
drive,
you.
praying for me.
Wow.
Pray. I get all the chills, bro. Look at my
Yeah,
body.
that's crazy.
She'll be praying for all this stuff for me, bro.
Dang.
Like, and she'll be like, show yourself to him, this, that, and everything happens.
That's very powerful.
So powerful.
Yeah, that's something that I do for other people.
Yes.
And I know my mom did that for me too. Every night she would come to my room and pray with me / for me. And
Yes.
it was annoying. I'm like,
Yes,
stop.
yes,
But
yes.
thinking back, that's like the best thing in the whole wide world, having a woman that prays for you
Yes.
when you don't even know why she's doing it.
So
That's
that's my
crazy.
story a little bit, like very, very like a short, very short.
Yeah, dang, that's crazy.
Yeah, bro. What about you? Like, how did you like? Because you obviously thought it was stupid, also.
Yeah, so I grew up, same thing. Not dead broke. Like
Yeah.
we had a house,
Yes.
but not rich at
Yeah.
all. Very paycheck to paycheck. But
Yes.
same thing.
Yes.
Great parents.
Yes.
And they would force me to go to church every Sunday. It wasn't an option.
Yes. Yes.
But just like you, I thought it was the most boring thing ever.
Yes.
And I hated going.
Yeah.
But they made me go. In our church, there was a statue of Jesus at the top. And I don't know what it was, but I just found it getting my attention all the time. At the time, I didn't think anything of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew the only thing I would recognize in that church was Jesus up on the cross. And it would
Yeah.
always just like, I would just look at it. Like, what
Yeah.
the heck is this? And I just remember doing that. But anyway, in 2020, I
This
was
is when you moved to no,
right before I moved to
right before
Tampa.
in Tampa. Oh, before
This
we
was in
Tampa.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
I lived in
You're
Pennsylvania.
from there.
Yeah, I'm from
Okay.
Pennsylvania. I was failing out of college, working at GNC, selling pre-workout and
Crazy.
protein.
I also worked in a supplement store in Spain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had zero money, and I just it was like rock bottom. I'm like, I'm gonna fail out of college, and I'm about to be like living in my parents' house for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like, I felt super hopeless.
Yes.
So I didn't know anything about God. I just knew, like, okay, in church they tell you to pray when you're at rock bottom, so let me start praying. So for months I was praying, like, show me a way, teach me what to do, and just praying because I was desperate. And then I was working out in my basement in 2020, and I just heard a voice. Like, it sounds corny, but I know anyone watching that's experienced it would understand. Like, they know. Like, there's a voice that you can hear inside your head.
Yeah,
Wes
it's
refers to it as
it's
your conscious.
Yes.
Like, to me, was not an audible voice, but it was a
Yes.
clear instruction on what
It's
to
so
do.
clear. You hear it clearly.
You know.
And you know what it's telling you.
It's very clear.
Yes.
And to me at that time, it was stop working out, run to your room, and read the Jesus Calling book that sits on your desk that I've never opened. There's a book called Jesus Calling. I still read it every morning. My mom would get it for me.
Is it a small book?
Small book, yeah, it's like this big.
Jesus Calling.
Daily devotional.
I think I have a similar one.
Yeah, it's a once a day reading.
Okay.
And my mom would get it for me every year for Christmas. I would never read it. But I heard the voice tell me, go read it. So I ran upstairs, opened it up. It was like April 11th or something like that. And basically what it says was, like, in life, whenever you don't know which way to go or what to do, cling to God, keep God first, and everything will be okay. So to me, it's like, all right, I'm in that situation right now. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go, and I'm worried. But basically, it was clear direction to me, like, cling to God, keep him first, and everything will be good. So literally, I ripped that page out, go back downstairs to finish my workout, and the same voice in my head tells me, make a note of this. So I literally have a note in my
Because you'll
phone.
forget about it.
Dated freaking April something 2020, where it's like, this is the first time I've heard God. I took a note of it.
Yeah.
God's telling me to.
This is decaf, right? Decaf. Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have the note in my old phone. God's telling me to drop out
So
of
in the
school.
phone, in notes of the iPhone. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because it tells you the date also.
Yeah, I'll show
I know.
you.
Yeah.
So literally in 2020, I'll just tell you the exact date. It's hard to explain, but like it's real. Let me find this. Look, April 6th, 2020. Today is April 6th. I've been stressing all of morning and all last week about my life ahead. It's important. It's an important point in my life where every decision I make will affect my future. I've been worrying recently. Do I move to Florida and work with my cousin, or do I stay comfortable and keep slowly pushing through school with no end goal? I've been leaning towards Florida, blah, blah, blah. I have a daily devotions Bible book that I read first thing when I wake up for the last 4 months. Truly just skimmed through it. I decided to come upstairs and pray, then open the devotions book and read today's passage. Connected to my situation perfectly. I have blah, blah, blah. I ripped out the passage. Today's the day my life changes and my relationship with God becomes more real and more strong. That was April 6th. So that gave me the confidence to drop out and move to Florida. Because I'm like, all right, I don't need money. I don't need friends. I'm just going to keep God first and hope everything works.
It's crazy because...
And I forgot about that.
Yeah, I feel like everyone that's become very successful, like you, like me, like they have to go through a phase where they become lonely.
Yeah, facts.
Because
and desperate.
It's impossible to know yourself and what you're meant to do if you don't blur all the fucking noise.
Yeah.
You know, when you're with people that are not in that mission, they're just distraction.
Yep.
And like, me, it's crazy like me, like, so I became millionaire and successful before God.
Yeah.
But the thing is that, check this out. When I moved to Miami 2023, which was the last year without God, right? Consciously, because God has always been there,
Yeah.
right? I got one of these clients, VIP clients, one-on-one, and I was just gonna like basically tell him to fuck off, because, you know, I was just like, I didn't like it. Like, he was just like very God spiritual, and like I just didn't like it. You know, I was like, oh, this guy looks like there's gonna be problems. I was about to just like not let him pay me. Like, you know, he wanted to pay me $8K for one. I'm like, I wasn't about, but something was telling me like, let it come in. You know, like, don't tell him to fuck off. Let him come in.
He was a pastor?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know anything. I didn't know what a pastor was. I don't know. I was just like, what are you talking about? Let's go to the, I was like, stop the bullshit. Eh? What, you know, so either way, he was telling me like, I've never seen anyone like you, in the sense like, you don't talk about God. You don't like have read the Bible. You don't go to church, but you act like the Bible says. So I've never seen anything like this. He was so like fascinated about that. I didn't understand anything at the point, but now I understand. Because I was applying everything, but I was not reading the God. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I also realized that God, as long as you just like act the way you need to act, He's going to build you a crazy life, you know?
Yeah.
But obviously if you're conscious about it, it's way better.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and for me, crazy, like up to 2023, life was always easy. Let's say easy. I didn't have any issues, like depression or anything. 2024, 2025, 2026 was the hardest years of my life. You know, because I feel like when you get closer to God, the battle it's hard.
Devil starts to attack you.
Yeah, because before, you know, your vice says this, so whenever you just feel bad, you go drugs, you go this, you go party.
Yeah.
So you don't experience that suffering.
Yeah.
But now when you're with God, like, you gotta swallow that shit.
Yep.
And you gotta take it. You know, so that's something also I've learned. Maybe I want to share this with you guys and everyone. This is something I learned the last 3 years. Is for the first time in my life, I experienced depression. I thought that was not real. People, when I'm depressed, like, you're full of bullshit. That's not real. I would tell them it's not even real, because I never experienced it, right? But I experienced it for the first time, and I didn't understand why. You know, I was making money. You know, I always make money. I've never went down, living crazy life. Business is good. My wife is good. Everything was good. So what the fuck, I'm depressed. You know, I didn't have purpose. I never missed, because I'm very disciplined. But I was not, you know, I was not excited about life. And I was not like excited about shit, you know? And I understand why. Crazy thing is, like, as I got so deep into the Bible, at one point I've read the Bible several times, and at one point I was reading 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day.
4 hours a
Yes,
day?
at one point I was reading 4 hours a day.
Dang.
I wake up 4 a.m. reading 4 hours a day. So I didn't realize, but I became religious without realizing. I started to judge people. I started to judge things that I used to do before, people that I used to hang out before with, and I never been like that. So by doing that, I became like religious in the sense of like I stopped being myself. I stopped speaking as I speak. I stopped being me, my personality that God gave me.
Yeah.
Because when you become so religious, you're scared. Like, oh, you cannot speak like that. Oh, Jesus will not say that. Oh, this. Oh, that. Like you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
you're like scared. No, you're scared. Oh, I cannot do this. So I lost myself, and I learned so much. Now I can help so much more people that are depressed because they're depressed because they're not themselves. You get depressed. That's like God, like your car low pressure. It's a sign.
Yeah.
Depression is a sign. It's a sign that there's something wrong in you, bro.
Facts.
You're not being you. I created you with this personality to do this thing, and you're not doing it because people are putting you fear. No, you gotta speak like that. You gotta tell people to fuck off. You gotta tell people they're fat and fuck off. Like that's who you are.
Yeah.
I built you to do that. I built you to do that, and I stopped doing that. That's why I got depressed.